Okay. Okay, I'm quite sure that everybody did not come here for the beats, but we just wanted to give everyone a little time to show up. As we know, some of us may have a little trouble getting in on time. Anyway, I want to introduce our beautiful guest who is very accomplished and ambitious and has so much ambition and motivation within herself that she motivates others to follow her in her weight loss and health journey, which she has accomplished so many exceptional things. Welcome to the LANCESCURV show, Neil, Sister Neil. I'm glad that you are here. And I haven't been too good on my diet recently, so I'm going to have to ask you for a few tips. You know, how are you doing this evening? And wherever you are, it might be late afternoon, so it's daylight somewhere. So that doesn't matter. It's the information that you bring and the motivation that you bring. The benefits of the fasting focused lifestyle. I couldn't find one phrase to encompass everything that you do. There's so much that you do. You have that bi-monthly book club, the discussions. You have a whole community behind you because people don't follow anybody that's doing something fraudulent. You are the real thing. So with that being said, I want you to share with us and just talk to us. And this is always a conversational format about what it is that you have accomplished. And that 70 pounds is what I want to hear about. That's all I'm seeing is the number 70 pounds. You lost 70 pounds? Okay, I'm hearing. Okay, I think you're muted or something. You might have to
Oh,
check
I'm
your.
muted.
Yeah,
Hello,
there you
Lance.
go. There you go.
Okay, wonderful,
Those things
wonderful.
happen. It's okay. That means it's going to be a Swedish show. And excuse me
I
over here.
think
I'm sweating. It's very hot where I am. I got the fan on, and you'll see me wiping my face, whatever. I just
that's
ran home.
absolutely
I just got
fine.
home
That's
quick.
absolutely fine. I wish I could get some of that heat into Britain here, which is really already cold, and it's been raining
It's
all
cold
day. But
already, huh?
hey, so let's get down to it. Let's get down to it. So
Yes.
everybody, my name is Neo. I'll give you a bit of my background so that you get some context into
Yes.
how I've
Thank you.
started my journey. So I am a girl from Botswana. I was born and bred in rural Africa. I was born, that girl that you see carrying a bucket over her head from the village standpipe to picking up water, to go and use it in the house and doing chores and cooking outside with firewood. That was me. So
Well,
I
you know
grew
what?
up.
I just saw a few people out there because I'm in Africa right now.
Oh, are
I'm in
you?
the,
Okay.
in
Oh,
Accra,
wow.
Ghana. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So
That's
I see that every
fantastic.
single day.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. I miss Africa so much. So, yeah, so that's where I grew up. I grew up in a village in Botswana, and I grew up there most of my life. I came to Britain to study. I got awarded a scholarship to come and study here in Britain, and I came here and I did a math degree. And then I went on to work in the city. I qualified and I trained as an actuary. And my day job is working as an investment manager. I'm responsible for about 200 billion pounds of assets. That's my day job. And one of the youngest people who are in that senior position of being a director of a FTSE 100 company, the only Black woman, so Black person or person of color. So I'm very, very proud to actually be representing my people in the city in what I do. And today I'm here to talk about not really about losing 50 pounds. I'm here to talk about human capacity, because my story, all that I am about is about human capacity, and it's about striving to basically unleash the best that we could be, our absolute superpower, because each and every one of us here is invincible. We are invincible because we've come into this world. We are souls having a human experience. We are connected to source, and the source is invincible, right? The source is invincible, is omnipotent, is omnipresent. And the source is living within me. So my body is carrying that precious cargo, and I believe that we are here to make sure that we manifest, the truest, the purest form of kind of creation that we can as individuals. And that is what I'm all about. I'm all about human capacity, exploring, the full extent to which I can basically live as full a life, the best version of myself as possible, and also helping others do exactly the same. And that is what got me to the city, because growing up in rural Africa in poverty, nobody would have expected me to have ended up in the city being a director of a FTSE 100 company, being responsible for 250 billion pounds of assets. And that is primarily, again, because I've always been driven to kind of say, okay, can I push myself further than I feel that I humanly can? And part of my background as well that you might not know about as well, Lance, it's just all context, is that I'm partially sighted, and I'm partially deaf in one ear, and growing up in a village, being kind of extremely debilitated or limited in terms of what I can do. It is through that strive to really unleash as much as I can, and really pushing myself to see where I can actually get to, that has landed me where I am. So within the context of that background, I found myself in the city. I'm working, I'm doing this big job. At the time, as well. You know, I decided at some point that I was bored and I was going to self-fund myself to do an executive MBA at Oxford. So I was juggling this big job. I have a family, and I was also studying at Oxford, and it just became also so much. And you know, very, very busy. We're busy being busy, and I think everybody can identify with that. And I always give this analogy, Lance, that as human beings, if you stepped away from it all, we are like these little things that are running around being busy on a piece of rock, right? That is the context. And we're, you know what I mean? If you stand
I
back,
agree.
there's
I
this rock
agree.
that's spinning, and we're busy being busy, right? Busy being busy. And I guess I was one of those people really busy being busy, really high pressure job, the commute, you know, the long hours, you know, the studying and everything. And then what do? Then you lose touch with yourself. You lose touch with the core of who you are, which is your seat of consciousness, which is your soul. And what you're doing then is that because there's so much going on, and then you end up medicating or numbing it all with food, with alcohol. For me, I would have a glass of wine at the end of the day because look, I've had a really rough day. I deserve that glass of wine. And you're basically, you know, there's so much noise that you're drowning out yourself, and you're basically medicating with food, and you're medicating with alcohol and with excesses, and you're just busy being busy. And what then happened is that obviously, you know, it caught up with my health in the sense that I wasn't particularly unhealthy, but I had some kind of chronic pain on my shoulder, and I was constantly in pain. And in a bid to trying to find a means of dealing with the inflammation and with the pain, I tried everything. I didn't want to go anywhere near pills, because you hear of people, you know, you watch TV programs where people start taking painkillers like Vicodin and all of that, and then they get addicted to it. You know, that there's the whole kind of issue around it in America where people just get addicted to painkillers. I wasn't even 40. I was like, there's no way I'm going to touch this stuff. And obviously, my drug dealer doctor is busy trying to get me on painkillers instead of saying, okay, how do we manage this stuff without getting
Drug
you
dealer
at your
doctor.
age?
I like that.
Exactly. You know, that's what they do, right? You know, they work for pharmaceuticals, right? You know, for as long as pharmaceuticals are making money, they're making money, they remain in business. So they're drug dealer doctors. So, anyway, so I tried acupuncture, I tried lots of things, and I came across fasting. So I then started living what is called a fasting focused lifestyle. And there are so many benefits I've derived from that, and one of those is basically being able to find the seat of my consciousness, through which I've been able to really unleash my human capacity, find my calling, which is to help other people actually along this path. So what is a fasting focused lifestyle, Lance, you might ask me? So what is it, right? So what a fasting focused lifestyle is that, yeah.
Before you to that, and I
Yeah.
had to turn the sound on when the truck went by, right? Then a motorcycle. But did you coin that term? Is this something that you heard somewhere else? Because I've never heard that before. I
A
never heard
fasting
that term
focused
before.
lifestyle.
Yeah, fasting focused lifestyle, just like that. I heard fasting lifestyle in all these different terms, but when I heard that, I said, this must be something that you originated or put together. And if it
I,
is something
I
you
would
did,
I would love to wear the halo, but I can't. I
exactly.
will not wear the halo.
Right, right.
I heard somebody. So there's a big fasting community. There's a big community of people who fast, and one of the girls who used, you know, who I followed initially when I started fasting, her name is Shamim Miller. She used that term, and I think the term was actually coined by a gentleman called Cole Robinson, who is the founder of the snake diet. The snake diet is a fasting focused lifestyle. And that is, I think it's just been coined through the fasting community, but I am not going to wear that halo. I would love, as much as I would love to. No. Okay, wonderful. So what is a fasting focused lifestyle? So that means you are incorporating fasting, a form of fasting, as part of your life. And why would you do that, you might ask me? And if you think about us as human beings, we have kind of evolved over centuries, right? Over thousands of years. And even as recent as the hunter-gatherers, my grandfather from Botswana was a hunter-gatherer. He's part of the Khoisan people, and they were hunter-gatherers. And hunter-gatherers, you didn't eat 6 meals a day, right? Even when I was growing up, you didn't eat 6 meals a day. You didn't eat 3 meals a day. You had your 1 meal a day, and you'd work during the day, and you'd work in the lands. And this is what I used to do as a child. You'd work in the lands, and in the evening, you all go back as a pack, and you have your feast. As human beings, we are designed as hunter-gatherers. We are designed to fast and feast, not to eat 24/7. And that is how even research into the physiology of human beings and the science behind how the body reacts to food intake, there is some very, very strong kind of evidence to support that actually the physiology hasn't, our bodies haven't evolved enough over the thousands of years to be able to accommodate us eating multiple meals a day. And you can see that, I think if you're an athlete and you're exercising all the time, then you do need to basically kind of feed several times a day to keep up with your energy expansion. But most of us have sedentary lives, and yet you eat breakfast, which is full of sugar, you eat your lunch, which is massive, you eat your dinner, and then we're surprised why 85% of the adult world population in the developed world has type 2 diabetes, some of whom, and the majority of us don't even know that we've got it. There is this global pandemic. People think that COVID is a global pandemic, but the bigger pandemic is actually obesity. And that is because we are eating in such a way that our bodies haven't evolved enough yet to be able to cope with the amount of food and the frequency of food that we put into our bodies. So living a fasting focused lifestyle is about correcting, to some extent, and going back to the paleo life of living, where you are basically not eating 24/7, and you are giving your body a break during the day to heal. So I started doing this, like I said, at the beginning of the lockdown, the first UK lockdown. I got into it and I thought, if I don't do something about kind of my health and my diet, I'm going to end up coming out of this lockdown worse than I got in, because it was so busy. Everybody's locked down. There was so much uncertainty. I was just going to be drinking wine every day, right? Starting at 5 o'clock at the minute I log off, right? So I thought I need to do something. I need to try something. So I tried this. So incorporating fasting into your lifestyle. And what it does is that the benefits of fasting are vast, right? They're huge. Through fasting, you can reverse type 2 diabetes, right? You don't need, if you're going to a doctor and they're not telling you this, then you need to find another doctor, because most doctors who are kind of really, really catching on to the power of how you eat to heal you instead of pumping you with drugs will tell you this. If you're a type 2 diabetic and your doctor isn't educating you about your diet and how you can 100% reverse your type 2 diabetes through your diet, then you need to find a new GP. Fasting can, there's evidence, Dr. Fung, Dr. Berg, there's lots of doctors, credible people who are practicing physicians who are well acclaimed, who are reversing type 2 diabetes, they're reversing high blood pressure, they are dealing with challenges around obesity, renal failure diseases, just through fasting and having a clean and healthy, focused diet, as opposed to pumping patients with medication. It reduces inflammation. It has anti-aging benefits. Many people will not believe that I'm in my 40s. Yes, I am. And I look a lot younger than I did sort of 3 years ago when I was having a glass of wine every day after work, and I feel even better. And all of these benefits around fasting, obviously. So I want to tell you something that will surprise you. So I did this, and I started doing this, and I was walking as well every day because it was a way of kind of clearing my mind, because we were bogged down in the house and we had only an hour to be out of the house, and that was it, right, during the lockdown in the UK. So I'd use that hour to go out and walk. And actually, I did this. The more I did this, my inflammation levels went down, my pain went away completely, and I just started feeling better, sleeping better, and I started feeling stronger. And then all of a sudden, I caught you catch yourself in the mirror, you're like, oh my God, I look pretty good. Do you know what I mean? So actually, the weight loss was a byproduct of an experiment that I did on trying to use fasting to deal with a health problem, a pain problem, an inflammation problem. And so my primary driver wasn't to lose weight, it was to find a means of managing this chronic pain. And what the doctors had said was an early onset of arthritis, which is completely reversed now because they've done scans and they're saying, okay, there's none of that now. And it's all done through kind of living a fasting focused lifestyle. So what does that entail, living a fasting focused lifestyle? So that means you can incorporate either skipping breakfast and having your lunch and your dinner, no snacking in between, because when you're snacking, you are going to spike your insulin, and that's just not helpful. Or for some people, they skip breakfast and lunch and they have one meal a day, which is what people call OMAD. So you eat one meal a day, and with one meal a day and you have your meal, you sit down with your family and you have your meal, and that's it. And then most people do longer fasts once a year, once or twice a year. So you could do a 3-day fast, a 5-day fast. Some people do 7-day fast. Some people do longer. And what that does is that it is what really turbocharges this process of the anti-aging, the healing effects of fasting. And they've done a study which shows that you only have to fast once a year for 5 days, 5-day fast once a year, to basically make sure that you can to mitigate getting cancer. Because through a process that is induced by fasting, it's called autophagy, where the bad cells eat themselves. Through fasting, the body basically targets the bad cells. If you're going to do one fast a year, one long fasted year, you only have to do one long fast a year, 5 days, and that should be enough to keep cancer at bay. And that is what it means by living a fasting focused lifestyle. I don't know if you have any questions. I've been talking so much.
Well, you make my job easier. No, but this is very interesting because, I've learned over time that the body is self-healing. If you do right by the body, it heals itself. I've always said on this show that we don't know how to even heal a cut. We put the conditions properly, we clean it, and we cover it. So the body is self-healing. So I'm with you on all of that. Truth supports truth. And to hear that this is a simple preventative measure to take against cancer, the cancer industry, so to say, doesn't want you to know that. So imagine if You do this for 5 days, a year.
Mm,
Then you also throw 1 day a week or
mm,
2 days
mm,
out of the month to make
mm,
sure.
mm.
The world would change.
Absolutely.
Not to get off the topic, but they have the technology to get away from gas engines,
Mm,
but
mm,
they don't want to
mhm.
do that
Yeah,
because they
I
lose
know.
too much money. So
Absolutely.
really and truly, where did cancer come from? Do we have this 200 years ago, 300 years ago? We're pumping all this food inside of us, yet we have more
Radiation.
sicknesses.
Radiation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Talk to me about all of that.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so true.
Yes. Yes. And I guess the fasting is a hack that nobody wants you to hear about. The medical industry, I mean, they will shut you down. It's only these revolutionary doctors, and if you look them up, Dr. Jason Fung, Dr. Berg, and all of these people, the food industry wants us to be ill, in my opinion. Because if you're going to be selling cereal, breakfast cereal that is full of sugar, and you know that that sugar is going to cause an insulin spike, and it's going to basically lead people to become obese, to get hypertension, to get type 2 diabetes and all of that, and we're still promoting it, then there is something wrong with how the world economy is actually going, right, in terms of supporting the messaging coming out of the food industry. Actually, somebody came up with a post the other day where in Britain or in Europe, cigarettes now are labeled with big, right, this will kill you, and there's no marketing on it. And effectively, that type of labeling needs to go on your sodas, the drinks that are full of sugar that you drink. They need to go on the breakfast cereals that you eat, all the stuff that's full of sugar, because the more you take it, these are the things they're cultivating, you know, our bodies, our DNA isn't evolved enough to be able to cope with all of this in excess. And what that then does is that it manifests in disease, in type 2 diabetes, it manifests in obesity and all obesity associated diseases and in cancer. And actually, our doctors would rather tell us they only want to deal with treating us for illness as opposed to preventing us getting diseases, right? They just want to treat it, right? So they would like you to present with type 2 diabetes and give you a pill because that just ticks a box. Okay, we've dealt with that person as opposed to preventative measures. Somebody comes in overweight and they're kind of borderline type 2 diabetes, actually saying to them, actually, I'm not giving you a pill. I'm putting you on a diet. You're going to fast every day. You're going to have 1 meal a day and then come back in a month's time. And that's your prescription, right? And we need to have that kind of change of mindset where we are not being driven by facilitating the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, etc., etc.'s profits. We need to have, and for me, I'm going to say this, and I apologize to people who might not take it the right way. I'm a Black woman, right? I'm a Black woman. I came from a Black woman who came from a Black woman, and I'm surrounded by Black women. But unfortunately, I came from Black women who were obese, hypertension, diabetes, and I'm surrounded by people who have similar issues. And it can all be corrected with a diet. And my whole mission is to kind of open up the eyes of not just Black women or Black people, just everybody, to say, guys, we can do better. This is the revolution that we need to lead. This is the revolution that we need to stand up, of saying, actually, we can stand up against, we can actually stand up and actually get our arms around our own health through introducing fasting into our lifestyle, time restricted eating, where you're not being kind of surrounded by this consumerism. You're constantly consuming, whether it's food, whether it's clothes, whether it's whatever. Consumerism, that is the revolution that we need to actually lead. And actually, I was coming to this actually, Lance. So one of the biggest benefits of fasting is the spiritual side of things. And I know you know, many religions fast for spirituality. I think is the one thing that brings us together as religions. Christians fast, Buddhists fast, Muslims fast. We all fast. That is the one thing that actually brings us together. And it's because when you do fast, it grounds you. And you know why it grinds you? Because it takes you down to, you strip out the consumerism and you're down to yourself. And the more you do it, the more you're connected to the seat of your consciousness. And when you are, then you will find there, you will find your purpose, you will find your calling, because you are not being clouded by that wine that you drink every night. You're not being clouded by the hangover. You're not being clouded by the sugar high that you're constantly getting from pumping food into your body. But because you are stripping all of that out and you end up really facing the seat of your consciousness, then that is what allows you to really, really, really connect with yourself, to be grounded and to really find your real purpose. And for myself, you know, the biggest benefit, obviously apart from the pain kind of going away, I mean, I'm completely pain-free, right? Like completely. And this is somebody who was kind of having sleepless nights from pain, but the biggest benefit isn't that. The biggest benefit for me is that connection with the seat of my consciousness is in through being healthy, through not having this constant cloud around me of excess and consumerism, and being grounded. You know, I have clarity in terms of even my day-to-day job, more clarity, more energy, right? More energy to help others, more energy to work with to help my family, more energy to face the world every single day. Wouldn't we all want more energy, and energy that's not like artificial, but is actually coming from within you? Because everything that we want is within ourselves. Sorry, I will pause there to see if you've got questions.
No.
Yeah.
No. You're absolutely saying everything so profound, but it resonates with me because you may say it one way, I may say it a different way, but it just fits in. So it's like I'm speaking to myself, but you're just using different words. You know, the answer's inside of you. And the point that you made that I want to just jump on and go further, it's like a sharpened blade cutting through, and the blade is hot and it's cutting through butter. So when you do get your body balanced and correct through your fasting, you look at things that you go through your day and you say, you know, it used to be by 11 o'clock at this time on this job, I was just beat up. And now I feel like I just woke up.
Yes.
Your energy is just so increased, and you go through the day and you say, wait a second, you know, it's 2 hours before I leave here. I don't feel it.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I'm quite sure that's what you know is reality.
Absolutely. And you know, it is that human capacity. This is why I gave the context of my story, and I believe this is the path that I was meant to walk. This is the path I was meant to find, because I've always striven, you know, to be the very best that I could be. Along the way, I had to face a few bumps along the way and actually kind of get lost, right? In order to basically find this path. And this path has been absolutely illuminating. And don't get me wrong, Lance, I'm not going to be, listen, this is not a cult, right? Living a fasting focused lifestyle is not a cult. You're going to have, you know, it's not a cult. You're going to have, exactly, you know, we are designed to fast and feast, right? So when you feast, there's no guilt. You eat your meals, you know, you can have a glass of wine to celebrate with your friends. You're not going to be a weirdo, right? Where you are just, do you understand what, this ain't a cult, but it is bringing balance, and is being, and one of the terms that I haven't coined, but others have coined, and that I love so much, is called mindful eating. It's being mindful because my body is carrying precious cargo. That's what I believe, right? My body is carrying my soul. My soul is precious cargo. So in order for me to be fit for my purpose, in order for me to deliver to my capacity, right? And really, really like my full capacity and become omnipotent and invincible, my body is going to be able to be awake. My body is going to be able to facilitate me being able to see myself and to see everything, to have the clarity. And there is no greater thing than fasting that can actually give you that. If you want to get an injection, listen, I'm not going to give you a science lesson on this. I can do another show and just do the science of fasting, and I would love to do that, but I'm not going to do that today. But if you're looking
We want you back on regular. We want you back on regular. So you just let me know, Lance, we're going to do it this way. I'm right here. Because we already can't get enough of you. We already love you here. All right?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm feeling very welcome. Thank you, Lance. Yeah. But I will cover the science behind fasting, because I think a lot of people really want to understand the science behind it in order to get over the fear of it. Now, if you think about it, I think a lot of people always ask me, oh, Neil, am I gonna be okay? Is my blood sugar gonna be low? And am I gonna faint? No, you're not. Because when you're going in for surgery, what do they tell you? Nail by mouth, right? Right? And you don't die on the operating theater. You stop eating from the day before, and you could even be in surgery until the following day, like maybe more than 24 hours. And do you ever die? No, you don't die, because their body is designed to it. The body is such a beautiful, intricate. It's so beautifully designed that you have enough fat in you. Even me, as lean as I am, I've got enough fat in me to sustain me for at least a 7-day fast, 40-day fast without eating. I'm not going to push you there, obviously, because like I say, this ain't a cult. So we do this in a measured way, whereby even if you just cut one of your meals, or you do one meal a day just to get your body healing, right? And then maybe once a year a longer fast. But you have enough stores in you to push you to fast 40 days. You've got enough stores in you, enough vitamins in you to push you to fast 7 days. You right? You have everything. The body is so clever that for us as humans to think that we can outwit it in terms of the things that we put in it is absolutely crazy. As you say, Lance, the body heals itself. The body knows what hormones to release when what happens. The body is the cleverest thing that has ever been designed. And I think when you really dig deep into the science of fasting, then it should really help people get comfortable with it. So I would encourage you all, anybody who's tuned in, to go on even on YouTube. There's Dr. Jason Fung, there is Dr. Berg. There are various doctors who basically give this information around the science behind fasting. And that should be your starting point in terms of really getting comfortable with knowing that you can actually fast and you're not going to die, right? In fact, you're going to, it's going to heal you.
But they make us feel as though we have to stuff this food all day long. And then when we get too full, too constipated, take a pill.
I know.
Bloat,
Yeah.
take a diuretic. You can't sleep, take a pill. Everything,
Yes.
and then now we reduce our natural functions that we don't know what's going on. We don't even operate by the sun anymore. Yeah. Like when you say hunter-gatherer, you didn't do this overnight. You did this in the daytime.
Yes.
So it's a cyclical thing with the earth and the rhythm that we do. And as long as we abide by, it's like a dance that we're doing with nature, a dance that we're doing with the sun and the moon. We go to sleep, we get up, we have a meal, our heart beats, we sleep. We have a season for everything. So it's a dance of life that we do. And all of these artificial things that we do take us away and off beat. It's like shutting off the music or putting 5 different songs on, and we don't know what beat to dance to.
Oh, wow. You see? Wow. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. And what fasting does is it turns off the music. It turns off all all of these 5 million songs and all that you face. is your consciousness, is you face yourself and you're actually able to hear yourself think. The mental clarity that you will get, and then it allows the body to then heal. It's like, oh my God, you've turned off all of this poison that you've been putting into my body, because actually a lot of the food that we consume is poison. Oh my God, this has been turned off. I can actually start healing and functioning as I ought to be functioning. You've said it so beautifully, Lance. And who stands to gain, right? Who stands to gain? We don't stand to gain, because we are a population, especially African Americans, especially people of color, you know, whether it's Asians or Africans. You know, if you look at the global pandemic, who is heavily affected, right? The only people who stands to gain are the pharmaceuticals and the food industry, right? We don't stand to gain from this, which is why I talk about it as a revolution, right? Actually kind of pausing and doing your research. That's the first place to start. Pause. Just don't take my word for it. Don't take Lance's word for it. Pause and do your research, because when you start looking into this, you will just kind of see that actually this is a no-brainer. People have been fasting for millennia. This is how we were designed. We were designed to fast and feast. And when we do feast, you also feed your body with food that nourishes you. Food that nourishes you. You don't fast and then basically pile in. There is a breakfast cereal that they sell here in Britain, which is called, Crunch Nut. Sorry, I will not mention the name on national, on media.
They won't get us in trouble.
Exactly, but it's basically sugar, right? And then I know families who then put that on a bowl. They put more sugar, they put milk, and then they put cream, right? And that's supposed to be love. You know, you're loving your kids by giving them food like that. And Lance, I think it's really sad. So the revolution that we need to start as people who are awakened, people who are in search for self-awakening, is educating ourselves and then educating those around us. And I would also like to see that education start in schools. We need to be taught from the time we're young. How many times, Lance, were you told as a kid, okay, wake up in the morning, eat your meal, eat your curry, because it's going to hold you all day, right? And that's the first thing that you're eating first thing in the morning. And then lunch, you're eating the same thing. And then you have to sit and finish your meal. And then in the evening, you're eating again. You know, it's carbohydrates and it's processed. A lot of it is processed, and there's sugar and there's all sorts of stuff. And we think we are loving our children by doing that. The revolution that we need to do is within our families, within our schools. We need to start, I'm not saying just teaching about fasting, we just need to start teaching mindful eating, teaching how to eat whole foods, and we start them young, because when we start them young, then they won't have to have this uphill struggle that we're having to go through in terms of unlearning all of the things that we learned when we were growing up.
You know, when you really look at it, that's the main goal of the schools, to have this assembly line of new victims come off of it.
I know.
Yeah, they're setting you up, because when you look at these breakfast cereals, corn syrup, sugar, wheat, refined wheat, and all the gluten that comes along with it. Yes. And then they have things that have such long names and many different sugars. Many people don't understand that when you have anything with OSE at the end, that is a sugar. And then with these foods, that within the one concoction of this food thing that has empty calories, there are things in there that are not supposed to be put together, that we can't even digest it right, because it's not simple. Yes. And then you go to lunch in these schools and they slap on something here, and you eat this again. The soda machine's over there. And then we're setting ourselves up and warping our taste buds. Yes. So lots of times when we eat, we just want to go down to sleep because our body has to deal with this thunderstorm inside of it.
Yeah. Thunderstorm indeed. What people don't appreciate is that when you eat 100 calories of food, it takes your body 70 calories to digest the 100 calories that you've eaten. So if what you're eating is 100 calories of rubbish, then you can imagine how much harder the body has to work. So there's going to be a hell of a lot of excess, and all of that excess gets stored as what? As fat. And that is why we are sitting on a pandemic of humans, beautiful humans across the world who are basically prisoners within their own bodies. Because as you say, it's an assembly line. We were taught this as youngsters, right? We were taught this from the time we were at schools. And we were basically weaned to be dependent on the food industry, to be sugar junkies, processed food junkies. And then we move on to the stronger stuff then, right? When we get older, like the wine, right? You add that on, you pile that on to the stronger stuff. And on top of that, we're not mobile because we're no longer hunting and gathering, right? We're just sitting on our asses. I always say to my girls, you're not going to get the ass you want by sitting on it, right? You're not going to get the ass that you want by sitting on it. And then we're sitting on our asses all day, and then we're surprised when we end up kind of being obese. But all I can say is, for anybody wanting to, because a lot of us are struggling with this, for anybody wanting to start that transformation, you should do this from a place of self-compassion and a place of self-love. Compassion, because as Lance and I have just said, we are the victims here. We are the victims of a system that a system that kind of has socialized us into becoming junkies of food. Well, thank you very much. Food and processed food, sugars, etc., right? We have been socialized into this way, and we've been learning this as adults, and then it gets perpetuated by the media, right? Like the media, how many times were you told, Lance, that you need to eat 6 times? I mean, it started off as 3, and then they moved on to 6, and then there's a whole kind of industry of people who prepare meals. I mean, have you seen their videos where they do like stacks and stacks and stacks of meals that they're gonna eat all week? I mean, can you believe it? Hey.
Even our athletes are becoming junkies, and they don't see their body as a living, breathing thing that's receptive to the world, but they want to look a certain way. And I spoke about that on an earlier show, and I'll keep it brief. We have bodybuilders now that are shoving down at least 10,000 calories a day of mucus-filled dairy products, heavy meats, different supplements, growth hormones, diuretics. And you know what they're doing now? They're shooting insulin to deal and absorb all of that, to stuff themselves and absorb all of the stuff so they can bloat their limbs. You see what I mean? So our minds are so far off, and the ideals are the expectations that you can push a button and make your body look whatever, and it's fueled by the insecurities. And now we have Instagram. And now we can look a certain way. And the likes and the hearts fuels the sickness that we have because we want more and more. We become narcissistic and we don't see, like you said, how beautiful the mechanism of this body so brilliantly made is. Just something to obey. We have insecurities, so we want more boobs. We go buy them. We want a backside, so we buy it. We put things inside of us. Plastic surgery. The most beautiful thing is when you see it natural. And I know that you said that sometimes you may go back, or where you grew up, you may see women who may be obese because of the Western world and the way of eating. But if you go back decades or 100 years, 150 years, you didn't see that at all.
No,
I see women out here in the motherland. I see women out here that have bodies that women in America have gone to the gym for years and could not look like that. because they haven't touched bad food. They're walking all day. Here's
Yes.
another thing, and I'm going to shut up because you got me fired up. I don't think I'm going to sleep until daylight.
You go, Lance.
Right?
Go. I love it.
When you think about it, and it just hit me while you were talking, how many of us truly walk a mile? Meaning that we get up, we walk from the bed to the bathroom, we walk to the car, and from the car, we don't even eat. We go to the fast food joint, we sitting down, we go to the job, we walk from the job to our desk and sit there and repeat the process. So you might walk a block for the day, and most of the time you're sitting down. And they wonder why they're shaped like that, because like you said, they won't get the backside they want by sitting on it. I like that. That's a t-shirt.
Do you know what? There's a girl, one of the girls I coached. Yeah, so one of the girls I coached, I asked her to walk 5 kilometers a day. So I coach women. I said, okay, can you do 5 kilometers? She's like, 5 kilometers? You want to kill me? I was like, it's like, okay, can you do 1 kilometer? She's just like, that's too far. That's too far. I can't do 1 kilometer. So this is what we're dealing with. And Lance, I'm going to come back to the 2 points I was making. You've got me fired up as well. You know, one of the points being, we need to start teaching this to our children. This needs to go into our curriculum, how we eat, and, you know, eating whole foods and time restricted eating, reversing this kind of consumerism. It needs to start with us as children, and walking, kind of being active, because you don't have to go to the gym and pump iron. You don't have to go, girls, ladies, you don't have to go to the gym and run. You don't have to do any of that. I lost my 70 pounds by walking, right? I walked every day, and I thought, you know, it's what's going to save me mentally as well, because, you know, we're cooped up in a house, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go out once a day and do my walk. This is going to be my worship to my body, to this temple. This is how I'm going to serve it. And, you know, I didn't have to lift weights. I didn't have to do HIIT. You understand? And then it brings me to my other point, which I was making, which is, guys, we are the victims here. We need to, when you're embarking on this, do it from a place of self-love and compassion for yourself. Compassion, right? You are having to unlearn a lot of the things that we were taught from the time we were young, you know, through our parents who were educated differently, through, you know, the school system, and then through the media, right, over a number of years, and the commercials that we see. You are having to unlearn all of that. Your body is full of this stuff. It's full of toxins. You've got to think of it. You are a junkie of food that your body, that is actually mostly toxic to your body, and you're having to unlearn all of that. And what happens if you're a junkie? It takes time, right, for you to basically to undo all of the damage. It takes time for you to get used, for your body to detox. And that's exactly how you have to see it if you're looking at embarking on this. So if you start and you kind of have a good day, and then tomorrow it's a bad day, don't worry. Don't beat yourself up. You just jump back on it, right? You just avoid getting into a negative loop. Just jump straight back into it, because you are undoing however many decades of work since you were born. That is what you are undoing, and that is how you're going to win this, if you approach this from a point of compassion and self-love.
Well, you nailed it right there, because it's all intertwined. Your journey, releasing and not consuming these foods, finding yourself, reconnecting yourself, and the whole spiritual aspect of things opening up and becoming sharper in your environment and seeing things deeper. You can see people faster. You can see situations to avoid that may not be or are too toxic. Yes. And you can navigate through the world easier. And people think there's some magic power that you have. What are you doing to have such a smooth life? And of course, we all fall in little bumps and different things in our infancy, because when you think of eternity, this is just a mere launching pad, these few years that we're here on this
It
level.
is. Yes.
But
Yes.
we're not moving as we should. So the ascension seems to be great because this is where we're supposed to be, where you are.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's
Yeah.
so much more. As we
Yes.
clean our filters, we can see better and we can move better, and everything is a joy. And I'm telling you, you can have chaos around you and you're concerned about who's around you, but you can pretty much not feel it as much. It buffers you. You see?
Oh my God,
I know a
Lance,
little bit of
you're speaking my language. You're speaking my language, honestly.
Yes, you're speaking mine too.
And I know, and it's so beautiful to connect with like-minded people. You don't understand. It's really beautiful. I often say that as humans, we've got to realize that our evolution hasn't stopped. People think that we've evolved, people have evolved from this to that, and now there's no evolution. We are evolving absolutely every day. And how, what are we, ask yourself, what am I evolving to with the stuff I'm putting in my body? What is my legacy going to be, right? What is my legacy going to be, right? What is my lineage going to be? Because you have a responsibility for your own lineage, right? That it starts with you. I didn't come from a healthy family, but I'm sure as hell I'm gonna make sure that a healthy family comes from me. Do you understand what I'm saying? It starts with me. I want my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren to talk about the woman who basically started a legacy of an evolutionary line of women, of the Muki women, right? Who, 1,000 years from now are going to be kind of evolved humans, evolved souls, because I started a journey where, through the fasting focused lifestyle, through self-awakening, through seeking self-awakening, the spirituality, that I'm basically clearing the path for my line ahead.
It's a beautiful thing because you see your place in this particular point in time, which really is beyond time. Time follows us. We make time.
Yes.
See, we create the waves in the cosmos and leave that imprint. And what you have to know, and you do already know it, I may say it a little different, but you're bushwhacking a trail for others to follow. See, many of us create trails and don't know that we're creating a trail. And some of those trails are not healthy. The trail of obesity, trail of dysfunction. And we don't feel as though we're in control of this. And so we succumb to it and say, oh, that's just the way it is. Pass me another liquor. Pass me some more drugs. Let me get into crazy activities and wayward lifestyles. But now, see, you understand how powerful you are and what you're doing, not only for the book right now, the chapter and the pages that you're writing in your life, but how you're affecting family that you may not physically see right now. Isn't it a beautiful thing?
It is.
That you're part of something that was, you're part of something that is, and you're part of something that will be.
Amen. Absolutely.
See?
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. You get me. Anyway, so guys, if you're wanting to find out more about what I do, just follow me on Instagram. I'm Neo_Muki_Watson. I'm actuarial chick because I'm an actuary by trade. And I've just been called actuarial chick all my life. So that's kind of stuck by me. And I coach people. And when we do our coaching, it's more than just about fasting. It's more than just about how to eat. It's about really digging deep into kind of really awakening that fire within you to basically not just want more for your life, right? And to actually want to be a superpower, a superhuman, omnipotent, right? Omnipresent, omnipotent, and all of that, right? Invincible. That is what we do as part of my coaching. And so feel free to reach out if you're looking. And again, as I've said, I'm going to come back and speak to Lance at some point and actually cover the science behind fasting, just to make sure that you all have kind of that background as well. Because when you get that context, then it takes away the fear of fasting. You kind of think, oh my God, this is what we were designed to do. And then it becomes easier. The journey becomes easier.
Well, everybody, you see it right there, her Instagram. If you want to come back to this show again, you better subscribe and follow her. And I want to say that we have one of the most intelligent, spiritual, aware, forward-thinking chat rooms and family on this platform. It may bear my name, but I'm just one of the fellas here. And I learned so much from many here. And there's going to be an extra measure of appreciation for you coming here today and spending your time and sharing with us. And it's almost like you aligned with us here.
Yes.
Because there's not anybody here in this chat room who's listening who disagrees. So like when you see a relay race going on and you have one runner catch the other and they just pass the baton, it's a smooth transition. So you here now, you're passing the baton, but you're not passing it. We're running along with each other, but now we're aligned like the planes that fuel each other in mid-flight.
I love it.
So now that we know who you are and connected with you like family that we didn't know before at a reunion, see, that's the cousin I told you about, and you hug. Now you're here. Keep coming back. Push what you do. And I'm not saying push like it's something bad, but don't be afraid or ashamed to say, hey, Lance, I want to promote this thing that I'm doing. Because guess what? There are people who utilize social media to push illicit things, to push decadent things, to push unhealthy things. So you're doing nothing wrong. And anytime you need me, you hit me up. So don't let 2 weeks go by and we don't have you back again. I know you're busy.
Listen, I'm so, you fire me up. I feel so fired up. It's been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to come back and share more with you, more than just, the fasting, but other things that I incorporate into my life that have made, I believe, Lance, sorry, I'm going to end with this, and I know it sounds crazy. I believe that life is supposed to be epically beautiful, right? That's what I believe. I honestly believe that. And that doesn't mean epically beautiful as in fueled by consumerism and wealth and whatever. Epically beautiful in terms of you really living your truth. And, I've known the most, growing up in poverty in rural village in rural Africa, those were the happiest people, the most beautiful life that I've ever lived, more than being surrounded by people at my work or around me who have a lot of wealth and who have a lot of abundance. And this journey is about really finding the seat of your consciousness and really being able to connect with us to make life epically beautiful.
Well said. I'll say no more. I'll let it simmer in like that. I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you, Neo. You're beautiful inside and out. Your vibration brightened up the world. And if the sun took a break and there was no light, I'd follow you because you're lighting everything up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You've blessed me so much today. Thank you for having me. You fired me up. It's very rare to meet people, as you say. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You take care. Okay?
Okay. Bye.
All right. Till next time. Bye-bye. All right. Take care. Wow. Let me get my face back in the middle, right? That was phenomenal. And I'm not going to keep this on too long because I wanted to sink into those. Let me just rearrange this thing here. I'm in the middle. I'll just go ahead and put a banner back on.